Alright, everybody. Right, there's been foolishness and shenanigans on this channel for a bit. There's been pickups challenges. There's been drinking sheep, haunted Dreamcasts. Oh, the coasters, me appearing on other people's videos, getting freaked out at coasters. There's been a lot of stuff happening. So I'm going to be serious on this one. Bog standard pickups video. I got quite a bit here because there was stuff that I picked up after Christmas, during Christmas, and then a few bits recently. Some of it games, some of it's not games. But yeah, I'll just run through it all, and then it can all go on the shelf in prep for my much talked about Foxbox Tour video. So, first things first. This is a retro game of a different kind. It's not a video game, but not sure if my stepdad Ian sometimes watches these, but I got a Christmas present from him this year. Is Sabutio. We had a lot of games of this over Christmas, and it is as good as I remember it being as a kid. So a bit of a project that I'm going to do out here soon. I've been measuring up this area for a table. I'm going to build a Sabutio table. I found Sabutio YouTube channels, obviously, and some people have got some kind of like step-by-step guides on how to build a table with the bits around the edges and some advertising boards and put some legs on it and stuff like that. So we're going to have a whole Sabutio thing going on out here. So that's good. I don't know if Ian, if you're watching this, thank you very much once again. I'm going to stay on Christmas presents, and before I get into the actual video games, got this one from my wife. I'm sure a lot of you have already got this, the Atari 2600, 7800 Visual Compendium from Bitmap Books, which I've been kind of glued to over Christmas. Obviously, none of my Ataris work. Well, actually, one of them does now, but I can at least look at what the games would look like if I could play them, so that's good. And first game, staying on the subject of Christmas and my missus. Now, my missus's only memory of gaming of any kind is Frogger, the handheld one. She's the yellow handheld one that you kind of sit your face into and play it. And I was looking out for one at Doncaster show, and I did see one, but it was pricey for something that she was going to look at and go, that's nice, and put it back down. It was 70, 80 quid, I seem to remember. But what I did find quite cheap was Frogger for the Atari. I can't actually remember how much I paid for this. It wasn't a huge amount, but it's complete with all the gubbins, and it's got the kind of display stand thing that comes with it. So that's good. She hasn't actually played it yet because it's far too cold out here this time of year for her to want to come out here. So that's going to be a Christmas present that pays off for her when it warms up a little bit, I think. Right, I've got a console here. Now, this was a wildcard purchase because I wasn't really looking to buy this, but where I live, it's not a massive town. There's not a huge amount that comes up on eBay that I can just go around and collect. So anything that pops up retro gamey within 5 miles on eBay, I'm tend to sort of try and jump on if I can. And this one came up. I think I picked this up sort of just before Christmas, like the 23rd or something like that of December. And it is a Master System 2 with Alex Kidd built into it. And this was boxed. I won't wave the box at you because it's actually holding up part of the shelving, but it's, yeah, the box is just up there. And I paid 55-ish quid, I think, for it. So I've got the console boxed, 2 controllers, and then the games unboxed. I got Ghostbusters and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And boxed, I got Cool Spot, which is one of the strangest games I've played, even next to that sheep thing I was doing in my last video. I think this was a tie into 7-Up Sprite. Doesn't actually say it on here, but it's some fizzy drink. Terrible, awful. But you know, game's a game for the shelf. And then the other one is Sonic the Hedgehog Chaos with a £25 Woolworth sticker still on it. So a nice little bit of heritage there. So that was for 55 quid. I wasn't really in the market for a Master System, but I saw it and thought, why the hell not? And I'll tell you why not. Why I shouldn't have is because I keep buying consoles that I don't have any games for, including the Nintendo DS and the PSP, because I bought both having realised that there were Assassin's Creed games I didn't have. So I bought both consoles cheap on, I think it was British Heart Foundation eBay page. I got both consoles from them. And I just bought the Assassin's Creed games and put it back on the shelf, but I thought I needed to pick up some more stuff. So I've been in, and most of this is from Cash Generator. So most of these games are maybe absolute garbage, but I paid sort of £1 or £2 for most of them. So I've got a load of DS and PSP ones here. So in no particular order, I've got, for these are the PSP ones, I've got Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. I've got something I've never seen this one before, but it's called Pursuit Force. I paid £1.99 for this. Now, one of the first video games I ever owned, and one of the ones that I played loads as a kid, was a PS1 game that's a slightly lesser known one called Crime Killer. It's like a futuristic thing with police chasing stuff around. And that's always been a special game for me. So anything where you are a policeman chasing people around is alright by me. Or apparently, if you're getting chased around by policemen, I can do both. I can swing both ways. Gangs of London. This is another one. 99p. I can't imagine it's going to be great, but it looks alright on the back. I can't say that it's likely to be one that I spend a lot of money for, but it's a quid. It's a quid to start beefing up the shelf. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I splashed out on this one. This was £2.99. I played recent Star Wars Battlefront games, but never any of the older ones, so I don't really know what to expect from this one. But £3 again, have a go. Now this one, 99p again, is Prince of Persia Revelations. Now I've read a lot that suggests that if you like Assassin's Creed, you'll like Prince of Persia, or indeed that Assassin's Creed was a rip-off of Prince of Persia initially. But I never played one. I don't know if this is going to be the right introduction to the series. You know, if someone came up to me and said, I don't like Assassin's Creed games, but I've only played Bloodlines on the PSP, I'd probably give them a slap. So I'll give this one a go. If I hate it, I'm not going to judge the series too much by it. But they were all... I paid less than £10 for all of them together from Cash Generator. So it's not bad. So I'll probably play some of them. That's not bad. Just a random another throwaway one, 99p. This is unboxed, but Lego Star Wars for the Game Boy Advance. I think I've got Lego Star Wars on 5 different platforms now. I've got it for the PSP, I've got it for the DS, I've got it on this, I've just got it on PS1, I think. I've got it on 4 or 5, maybe, but yeah, 99p again, this one for the cupboard. Let's do the DS ones next. So again, all of these are from Cash Generator. I bought the DS to play. There's 2 absolutely bogus Assassin's Creed games on it: Altair's Chronicles and Discovery, and they're shit. So that console's just sort of gone in a drawer, and I thought I owe it more, but every time I go to look at DS games, it's all weird, like brain training, let's do a puzzle or work out some solving a murder thing, or kiddie shit about ponies and keeping little pets. So I'm trying to be a bit specific about what I buy for the DS, because it is hard to find something that I'm actually going to be remotely interested in playing. So I picked up this one. This one wasn't from Cash Generator. I can't remember where this one was from, but New Super Mario Brothers, which I've started playing. I've got to be honest, don't really like Mario games that much. Shock horror. Not a thing to say on a retro gaming channel, probably, but it's all right. That one, it's okay. Something to play on it. This one was a £2 one from Cash Generator, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft Legend. I think being from Derby, I have to have a healthy collection of Tomb Raider games. They're not my favourite, never have been, but you know, got to honour your hometown, he says the night before my team played Derby. I've got this. I thought this was going to be good. I don't know why I thought it was going to be good because it's £1, but it's Spectrobes. Spectrobes. I haven't given this a go yet, but it's got something to do with trading cards. I mean, this is a mess. This is from a shop. It's the case is mouldy. Don't be alarmed at the fact that the disc's missing. I've taken them all out and put them in a case inside. I've absolutely no idea what that is. Again, it's one for £1 and it had a funky little logo on the side of it, so that was enough for me. On a very, very similar note, now I paid £6 for this for some reason because I thought it looked good, but Lunar Genesis. Now I thought that this was going to be a little bit like the Yeast series. I've been playing Yeast Memories of Calcetta on the Vita for a while, and I saw a few things that said that the Lunar series was not dissimilar, and based on early impressions, it's very dissimilar. I might stick with it. It's not doing it for me right now though. And then lastly for the DS, 2 Lego games. These are both from CEX, you'll tell from the stickers, but Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is probably my second favourite thing ever after Assassin's Creed. So I don't have many Lord of the Rings games. I do have Lord of the Rings Risk over there. And the Lord of the Rings Monopoly game. There was a discussion about Monopoly the other day. Chatting to someone who's got loads of them. You don't have the Lord of the Rings one, unless you do. Pirates of the Caribbean one I've already completed actually. That was my little Christmas project, and then I'll crack on with that one. So that is a quick run through of the DS collection. I also picked up, this is a frustrating one, this is CEX, but I also picked up the Dreamcast before Christmas when I was needing some games for it. So I bought Sonic Adventure. But obviously, some of this stuff's got to be broken. It is the Fox box. It crashes. When you play Sonic Adventure, like the very first thing, there's a boss you have to fight. And then at the end of that sequence, it just crashes. There's no sign of... I won't open it now because the cases on these are fiddly, but there's no sign of scratches or marks on the disc. But I gather that just from like Reddit and stuff like that, it's not an uncommon thing with this one. The problem is, I've lost the receipt, and I did pay a bit of money for this. I think I paid 15 or 20 quid for it, so I'm going to have to just hang on to it for a bit and then take it back and trade it in again. I don't want to put it on eBay because it'll, come back on me, but I can't just have a broken thing. CEX's fault for not sorting it out. Right, and then the other bits were, obviously I picked up the Evercade before Christmas, so I've got a few more Evercade cartridges. Got Atari Collection 2 to go with the Atari book I got. The Pico Collection. And the Bitmap Brothers Collection, which I bought specifically, well, this has got Chaos Engine on it, which Liam nearly beat me with in the Pickups Challenge, so I can play that and find out what that's all about. But then it's also got Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe on it. I've been trying to play Speedball for a while because I picked up like 100 games to play before you die mag book thing, and the big feature in it about Speedball, but it's one that just completely bypassed me when it was out. So yeah, I've been playing that one. That's good. And then the last two I've picked up. This is a throwaway one, but very first game I had. My first video games console was a PlayStation 1. And I got it for Christmas, can't tell you the year, but it had been out for maybe 2 or 3 years. And I remember I remember saying that I wanted Spyro because that was, Spyro was the big PlayStation thing at the time. And my mum was close. She got me Croc on the basis that they are both lizards. Fair enough. So I got Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, and it was for a while. This was the only game I had when I first had this in Crime Killer that I said earlier was the only game that I had for a long time. And I saw it in the CEX near me recently, and I thought, I think it was a tenner or something like that. I thought I'll pick that up and play that again because that has real nostalgia for me because that was one of the only games I had for a long time. And it's not bad, I can sort of remember how to play it at least. Yeah, and then the last one. Now, the last one as a game in itself isn't overly remarkable. It is Pele's Soccer for the Atari 2600. Just unboxed, paid £3 for it. Now, the game itself isn't remarkable, but the story about me buying it is quite remarkable because a couple of weeks before Christmas, I had a friend, Tim, come up to stay with me for the weekend. And actually, Tim, you should be watching this. He does subscribe. He has got a hell of a man cave in his house with all sorts of retro games, retro toys, football stuff. And he's not a tuber and has no intention of becoming one. But I'm going to start a new feature called Friends of the Foxbox. And I'm going to make him my first guest. I don't think he knows it yet. Well, he does now if he's watching. But I'm going to have a guest Manden on this channel at some point, and he's going to be it. But anyway, we were went for a day out in Chester. Now, the Doncaster show, I bought the Intellivision, and obviously, if you've been watching the videos, you'll know that I was spied in the background of someone else's. They were looking at some coasters on a table, and I was looking a little bit perturbed by it all in the background, and then I did a little video back to them explaining that I was buying an Intellivision at the time. Anyway, I stumbled upon a retro shop in Chester Market that's opened recently. I think it's called Retro Dojo. It's moved down from Liverpool recently. And I was looking at they had a pile of Intellivision games on there. And the guy running the store kind of clocked me looking at them and said, "Oh, you into Intellivision games?" And I said, "Well, I bought one at the Doncaster show a few weeks ago." And he said, "I know you did. I sold it to you." And my eyes just sort of dropped and saw the coasters, all the bloody drinks coasters that were causing all the thing at the show with the video. They're all there. It's the same guy. It's the guy who sold me the Intellivision. I didn't realise he's my actual local retro games dealer now, the Retro Dojo in Chester. And I didn't spend a huge amount of time, spent a huge amount of money on the day because at the time I was skint in the build up to Christmas. But I'm definitely going to go back and hoover up some of his Intellivision games. But at the time, I did buy Pele's Soccer. And he said to me at the time, "It's terrible. You guys won't play more than 3 games." And he was absolutely right. We drew 1-1 and decided that we shouldn't have a winner because there is no winners with this. I don't know why Pele's got his face on this. It's just 3. If you've played it, you know what it is. If you haven't played it, don't. Just can it. And that is it. And I have passed a milestone with this pickup because, bearing in mind that I started this collection last year, and I was saying to some people recently, before I started doing this channel, before Liam said to me, the point of this channel was I'm a complete newbie to the retro stuff, so I'm just sort of building up the collection as I go. And before doing that, I only ever really kept hold of like 1 or 2 games at a time, apart from all the Assassin's Creed ones I've got. I was always sort of buy a game and play it. Yeah, I kind of play a lot of games like Red Dead Redemption and obviously Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, The Witcher, Skyrim. Like the type of game that you can have just one game and play it relentlessly for 6 months, and then when you're bored of it, trade it in and get one other game and play that. So I've only ever really had 1 or 2, maybe a FIFA and an RPG on at the time. So my collection when I started was crap. But I've passed 100 games with this. Like, I think I'm up to about 110 games now. So that is nothing compared to you fellas that have all the shelves, Billy bookcases, wall-to-wall games. But, yeah, 100 games now. 100 games. And I've actually, you can't really see it, but we can't see it at all. I put a new bookcase in just down there. You have to wait in suspense to see it. But that is the last bit of furniture that I can get away with fitting out here. So once they're all filled, I'm knackered, basically. But that is pickups for now. I think I'm all caught up with the pickups. I've got a thing with an Atari that I'm doing at the minute that I'm going to do another video on soon. I've managed to get the Broken Woody to work, sort of. So I'll do a video on that soon, and the Games Room tour. So until then, thank you very much. I'll see you all soon.